probably remember me tagging along with my parents. Would sit in a corner with my coloring book, watching TV while all of you were dancing in the garage to salsa and cha-cha and way, way late into the night. So much laughter. And my dad loved dancing with my mom. They were so good at it and had such big smiles every time they would dance together. When I was little, he'd treat me to trips to Disneyland, take me out for ice cream, take me to the movies, even sometimes sneak into a second show. My sisters even now tease me that I had it better than them growing up. Dad was always making plans. He'd get so excited he'd plan things months to a year in advance. However, despite the early planning, there was always something that would go awry at the very last minute. Those close to my dad know there's a lot of these stories. But one particular story comes to mind, which we all bring up now and then and laugh about. My parents were taking a trip home to the Philippines to visit their family and go on a medical mission. My dad would pack weeks in advance, going over his checklist multiple times. He'd always insist going to the airport 5 to 6 hours before their departure. And only to discover at check-in that he'd left his passport at home. So they had to go all the way home and take the next flight to the Philippines anyway. My father was a man who had this incredible perspective about life and relationships. He would say to me that no matter where I went in life, to always treat others with dignity and respect. No matter their background or circumstance, everyone deserved kindness and love. He taught us to be kind and generous to others, not only through his words, but by example. Throughout my life, I saw my father help others, not through just his medical profession, but through his friendships. Over the years, I saw my dad influence, encourage, counseled, and inspired others to be the best versions of themselves. His love and generosity knew no bounds. My dad always emphasized the importance of faith and love of our family. That material things would come and go, but our family would always be there for each other. His lessons of life and love are what shaped me and my sisters into the strong, confident individuals we are today. And I will always carry that with us throughout my life. It's hard knowing he's no longer here to give us his words of wisdom. But I will always cherish these memories and our time together. I will always be Daddy's girl. I love you, Daddy. Hello, everybody. I'm Sharon, daughter number 2. I was the baby before Candace came along. When I was 12 years old, she came along, so I was his baby, and he treated me as such, and then that was it. You know me as Shasha, maybe. Today I will talk about, and I want to thank Lily Beth. She's been my friend forever, and my dad loved the way she sang. She sings, and this piano he gave to us, to Ella. We keep it at our home, so that's from him. The music that's going to be here today he helped provide. So my generous father, I will talk about his generosity today. No matter who he was to you, the overarching theme of my dad's relationships was generosity. If you were a recipient of his generosity, you could imagine what kind of dad and husband he was. He was generous with his home, his time, and his wisdom. Our home in Arcadia was a second home to many. There were people at our house all the time. I imagine he got this from his mom, Dolores, where they lived with an open door policy. Having guests meant my sister and I had more chores to do. We would hear my dad shout, "Katie, Shasha, get the spoons and forks, cups and paper plates ready." We did this all the time. We also had this guest house in the back. He had some of our close family and friends live there. They had the added bonus of hanging out with us girls. My friends were always welcome, and from what they tell me, they thought my dad was the coolest. There was always an endless amount of pizza, and he gave us permission to stay up as late as we wanted. Our wish was his command. He always made time for his friends, or as he thought of them, his extended family. He was the ultimate yes man. To us girls, he was the notorious DOB, double booker. How many times has he had us save the date 6 months in advance for some event, but by the time we'd reach that date, we'd find out that he'd completely forgotten and made entirely different plans with other people. We laugh about it often. The intentions were always good. Dad wanted to be there for everything and everybody. However, he was always there when it counted, like for his grandchildren. The time he spent with Nolan and Bonham, Ella and Cooper, was precious to them all and will never be forgotten. Lastly, he was known for being